Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Richter. I'm the training specialist here at the Medina County Board of DD. And I just want to welcome everybody to our presentation on Social Security and Medicaid benefits by Kim Bernardi, who's the quality support specialist here at the County Board. So just a few housekeeping items before we get started. This presentation is being recorded today, so we just ask everybody please silence your cell phones at this time. And then if you need the restrooms, they're located along this wall behind me right here. So at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to Kim to get our presentation started. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. Kim Bernardi, how are you? So yes, we're going to go over different types of Social Security benefits, Medicaid, how it intertwines with Social Security, Medicare, asset limits, things that we can do if an individual's working to keep them below a certain amount of money so it doesn't affect their benefits. I'm pretty informal. I talk fast, so told me to slow down if I'm going too fast, and I don't always follow that to a T. So there you have it. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. There's 3 different types of Social Security benefits an individual with disabilities can receive. The first one is Social Security Supplemental Income, or otherwise SSI, and it does not require work credits. The second one is Social Security Disabled Adult Child. That's based off of parents' work credit that they paid into Social Security, and the parent must be retired, deceased, or disabled for the individual to draw off of the parent's benefit. And then the third one is Social Security Disabled Individual, which the individual themselves have worked, paid into Social Security, earned work credits, and they can start drawing off of their own. I'm going to get more in detail of each one. Okay, SSI benefits. SSI benefits, you have to have a qualifying disability. Social Security will determine if the disability qualifies or not. They do have a list of disabilities such as like Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, and a variety of different ones that will just automatically trigger a yes for the Social Security benefit. And then there's others where they're going to investigate, look at the doctor's information, maybe even have to see their own doctors to determine if the individual is disabled or not. Okay, so you have to have a qualifying disability through Social Security. You're not required to have a work history. However, if your adult child is working, they can't be meeting substantial gainful activity when applying for SSI benefits. Substantial gainful activity this year is $1,470 a month gross. So they cannot be earning that much money when applying for SSI benefits, or Social Security will say they're not disabled, they're gainfully employed. And I'll explain a little bit more about SGA in a little bit. If they get SSI benefits, they automatically qualify for Medicaid. Okay. Now, in the past, you'd get SSI benefits, you take your reward letter over to JFS and apply for Medicaid. Now, it's supposed to automatically trigger Medicaid. And if somebody doesn't get their Medicaid card, you'll need to call JFS and let them know, because I think they're a little bit behind. You can have concurrent benefits. You can have SSI benefits, and you can also have off of your parents' benefit or off your own work record. And I'll explain that in a little bit. I have some calculation sheets to show you. All right. Maximum amount last year was $841 a month. This year it's $914 a month. They got that 8% raise this year. Income that affects benefits, earned income and unearned income will affect this benefit also to where you won't get the full amount. Okay. Again, I have calculation sheets we'll go over. So also when you have SSI benefits, your resources or your assets, whatever your savings, checking, whatever money you have has to be below $2,000 at all times. Because if your resources, say you have $2,010 constantly in your savings account, they're going to take back that $914 a month. They're going to have a huge payback when they get back to you. So always keep their asset limits under the 2,000 when they're on SSI benefits. Okay? There's different things that we can do if they need to spend down their money. Okay? We can talk about stable accounts, trust funds. Okay. All right. Different earned income that affects the SSI benefit is obviously work income, earnings from self-employment, even funds withheld due to garnishing wages. Say somebody, and this has happened in the past, not very often. I had someone on my caseload who had a child and he was paying child support, but it came out of a Social Security check. Okay, that still counted, even though it was not given to him. So it was taken out of a Social Security check. Somebody on SSI benefits, if they're living at home, they may not receive the full $914 a month because they could be receiving in-kind support. So if your adult child is living at home and is not paying their fair share, and their fair share means, so there's 3 people in the home, they are to be able, with the $914 a month, be able to pay their fair share of the mortgage, the utilities, and the food, not including phone and cable, because those are not necessities. Okay, so if $914 a month will not pay their fair share, Social Security says, well, you're receiving in-kind support. People are still supporting you. So now we're going to take $300 off that. So now they're only going to get $600 and some dollars a month of the SSI benefit. Yes. Correct. Because you're supporting them. So they're not going to give you the full amount. I didn't make the rule, but yes. Yes. So if their $914 a month isn't paying their fair share of, correct. Yes. It's. Can you pass the notebook? Okay. Can you write that down and give me your email and I'll get back to you on that one? Probably because you're still, yes. In half the food. That is correct. And if his fair share isn't if his is more than $914 a month, okay, then he should. Is he in high school? Okay. How much has he received? Because they just raised it, yes. So they're saying he's receiving in-kind support for some reason. Yes, you need to let them know. Yes. Yes. You'll have to call Social Security or go up there. No, you're just going to need to go up there and show them your, even if you write it all out. Right, that's what they're going to want. They have a drop box even. You can put it in a manila envelope and put what it is and put in the drop box for them to relook at. It has to be their fair share if they're living under your roof. So you don't have to do a rental agreement. Social Security just asks you, what's your mortgage? What's your utilities? Okay, right, that's fine, but you also don't have to do a rental agreement. You can just tell them what, they typically say, how much is your food bill a month? They want to see your utilities and they want to know how much your mortgage is. Or if you want to do the rental agreement, that's fine also. Okay, I'll double check. But my thing is, if they're not paying their fair share, even with, they still have to pay their fair share with a rental agreement. So now with the rental agreement, are you saying then you're going to have to claim that as on your taxes that it's income? That would mean you'd have to claim it on your taxes as income. Mhm. So that's what you would have to do there with the rental agreement. Yeah. Any other questions yet? Yes.
I have been doing was food that's only his, I've been making him pay for. And anything that's for the house, I've been paying for. So I charge him for his food, his juices, his whatever, and then I pay for everything else. Is that considered fair?
Yes, just, if you say, they're not going to want to see the receipts.
Right.
If you say it costs us $200 a month, he pays 100, that, they're taking your word for it.
Right. Okay, well, I'm saving the receipts that are his food
Mhm.
that we're buying to show that he's contributing towards his food.
Sorry, yes, I forgot. Okay. I forgot we're online. Yes.
They consider for what the fair share is, typically what is fair share. You have to make sure.
Well, your fair share, like,
But you have to ask them, because I
Right.
thought, well, is this reasonable? The person's like, oh, you do whatever you think is fair. That's right, do that. And so my son has to pay back like $5 during that time, because it was considered, a payment in kind or something.
in-kind support. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying, a fair share.
But you
If they-
should ask, they have a calculation.
Well, right, or like I said, if there's two people, if the food costs 200 a month, his fair share is 100. If there's three people, then it's 1/3 of that. So that's what your fair share.
Of age to work, and that I think you just let's say what kind of what there would be.
Okay. No, they don't have to work to get SSI benefits. It's not restricted to an age. Children under 18, it would be based off of parents' income, if the child will receive SSI benefits or not. If the parents' income's too high, they're not going to get any benefits. If the parents' income's lower, Social Security has a calculation, then the child could possibly get some benefits, or it's even prorated. Did I answer the question? Okay. And then when they're 18, they'll have to reapply based off of their income to get it to go higher. Okay. Jack, can we go next one? Okay. Earned income exclusions. If somebody receives an income tax check, they typically have about 9 months, if it sits in the account, to then do something with it before it's considered an asset and you're over that $2,000 limit. You can use some impairment-related work expenses to help bring down your assets, okay? I'm going to go over a lot of different things as far as impairment-related work expenses. If somebody has to pay for some of the items themselves, like you needed an hour in the morning for a personal care attendant to take care of you to get you ready for work and an hour after work. So if you're paying, say, $50 an hour, you can send this into Social Security, and then the SSI check, they'll deduct it, and the SSI check will increase, okay, based on your parent-related work expenses. I have calculation sheets that we're going to do in a little bit, so I can explain all that a little bit more, okay? Some other exclusions are the income tax credit. Students, if you're a high school student, and they're working, they can have $2,220 a month gross that is disregarded, and you wouldn't lose any of your SSI check, because when people are working, they're going to lose some of the SSI, and we'll be going over those soon. And $8,950 yearly, because typically if somebody is working, they disregard the first $85, and then you'll lose $1 for every 2 of monies you earn. So a student it's excluded from that if they're working, these amounts. How many have students? Okay. Okay.
Working for school, they got paid, and so like $167 they took off 85. They shouldn't.
He's a high school student?
Is the year 20? He's 18. He's still with.
He's 18. Okay.
No, he's 21, but he's still within the school.
Right, up till age 22.
Up till 22.
Yes.
So
He should be excluded up to that amount. Did he make more than?
no, but and can I go back and get like
We can appeal it.
passed because
How long ago was that?
last summer?
Last summer's too late. This summer, it's possible that we can appeal it. Okay? I can help you with that. I can help with any appeals too, by the way. Could you pass up that notebook, Dad, please? Okay. So students, if they're working, their SSI check isn't going to fluctuate. They'll stay the same as long as they're under this amount as far as earnings. Okay? Once they're out of high school, then you're like the adult, they disregard the first $85, and then they take $1 away of your SSI check for every 2 you earn. They're 2 months behind. You have to make sure that you submit their pay to Social Security at the end of each month. Okay? So like say December earnings will show up in February's check. So December's earnings, you give their earnings to Social Security in January, then it'll show up in as far as February's check based off of their earnings. So they're 2 months behind. Does that make sense? Okay, and then unearned income. These are some unearned income that will affect your SSI benefits. So other Social Security benefits. You can receive SSI benefits, then I'm working. I'm paying into Social Security. Now all of a sudden I'm going to get $300 a month off of my own benefit, the SSDI. So now I'm not going to get $914 a month on the SSI because I'm earning off of my own work record now. Okay, so I'm going to get $300 off of mine, and I'm eligible for 613 off of SSI. Okay, to get it to the SSI limit of 914. That's concurrent benefits. SSI is a supplemental income. So if my income is only like 300 a month off of another benefit, I am still can be able to get that SSI check. Okay. Now, if I'm working also, the SSI check is only going to fluctuate based on my earnings. We're going to do calculation sheets. My SSDI check that's 300 a month stays the same. But the more I work and pay into Social Security and earn work credits, my SSDI check is going to keep going up. My SSI check is going to keep going down. Okay. Once I earn enough work credits, say all of a sudden my SSDI check is over $914 a month, I'm no longer eligible for SSI benefits. But I'll have my $1,914 a month check, and I'm still earning my income. Okay. Does that make sense? Kind of. Okay. All right. Unemployment benefits, workman's comp, anything here, child support. So especially if you have are you receiving child support? Okay. They'll take it off the SSI amount. Yes, because that's income. Yes. SSI, yes, you didn't pay in the Social Security, you're disabled, it's a supplemental income. So if you meet their qualifications of a disability, you can get the SSI benefit. This year, the maximum amount's $914 a month. Yes. Yes. You need to honor that. Yes. Okay, so again, child support will affect it as well. Zach? Things that aren't going to affect it, if the individual lives on their own, they can get HEAP and PIP. That's heating assistance. That's not going to affect any of their benefits. So that's something if they ever move out on their own, there's HEAP. That will help pay their heat bill and their electric bill. Okay. Food stamps will not affect their benefits. Okay. Interest on Bureau resources, grants and scholarships for education won't affect it. So these are just some examples of what's not going to affect the benefit. Pass, that's what a pass is say your adult son or daughter would like to maybe start a business, or they want to go to college and they want to save money for it. They have to work with Social Security, and there's a big packet they need to help fill out. They need to fill out with a plan. This is my 4-year plan. I'm going to put away $300 a month, but Social Security holds on to it. Okay. So I'm getting SSI benefits, and I'm going to give Social Security $300 a month. I'm still going to turn around and get almost the full SSI benefit, but they're still holding the $300 a month. Okay. Because I want to get a car to go to work. Okay. I have to follow through with all that. Okay. Social Security is going to say we figured out 3 years, we'll have enough money in the past to get a car so I can go to work. If I don't follow through with this, I don't get the money. That's what it had. So anybody wants to start a business, you have to come up with a plan, fill out this packet, explain what your steps are going to be to start a business, how much money a month you want to set aside in the past. Okay, and then say it's a 4-year goal, and you reached your goal, you'll get that money from Social Security to start that business. Okay, so money set aside in the past doesn't count against your benefits. Not too few people have done a pass since I've been here for years, but it's definitely possible. Okay. It has to be work-related. Okay, countable assets. Any cash, liquid assets. Life insurance that's cashable. So if somebody has, just example, I had to put my dad in a nursing home. His life insurance policy was cashable for $2,020. He's $20 over the Medicaid asset limit. I had to cash it in, we'll put it on a prepaid burial. So this $25,000 life insurance policy, if he would have passed, I now have $2,020 to bury him. So if somebody has, so be careful with those life insurance policies. If they're cashable, that's an asset. Unless it's not in there, unless they don't own it. Yes. What if it's only $1,500, you say? No, I'm just kidding. If it's $1,500, you're fine, as long as there's not another $600 in a savings account. Right. And that $1,500, I'm saying if it's cashable, a lot of the cashable ones are going to grow as you keep paying them. That grows. So down the line, you're going to be able to cash it in for more. So just be careful. You can own it on your child. Your child cannot own it on themselves. Okay? No. Right, 5-year back. Medicaid goes 5 years back. You gotta be careful because Medicaid is also a $2,000 asset limit. Same with SSI. Yes, it's a look back. Your Social Security, all right. Your Social Security check does not count the month you get it because you still got your bills to pay. So if I have $1,500 in my savings and I get $900 in Social Security for that month, now I'm over, okay? But the 900 is not going to count yet. But now the next month, coming in the next month, if I have 2,100, I'm over. Okay, but the month it's deposited doesn't count. Yes. Did he have a back payment? Okay, that's, yes. Yes. Yes, if you have a back payment, it's actually 9 months to get rid of it. But if I have 1,500 in my account, I get my Social Security check this month, it's 900, I don't use it all. So now the beginning of next month, I have 2,100, I'm over $100. They're gonna want my full SSI check back. So, yes.
Some tax.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's say that if there's beneficiary things, I don't know if this falls in there. Let's say I have a life insurance policy and I pass and $20,000. That would go, when I pass and it gets my portion of it. That fall under this, or if it gets to 20,000, they'll say, well, for this.
It's an asset.
But then, so you don't get your SSI, but if it is stable account.
No, you can only put right now 17,000 a year in a stable account.
So if you would get that, or like.
It's an asset. Yes, you either need to spend it down, put some into a stable account, maybe put some into a trust, but
So for that month that it would come in, it couldn't go directly to him. I mean, if it comes to the payment, it goes.
So, mhm. Right, right,
So if they keep instructed,
correct. Or if he was, got enough where he can hurry up and open a stable account,
but if it was more than $17,000,
then he's over. Correct. Yes, we're going to talk a little bit about stable accounts and some trusts. Yes. No. And I can't tell you other things to do with it, but if there's a sibling or something, or yes, yes. You're allowed a car and a house. You just can't buy like a massive Cadillac or, worth 100,000. Right. You're allowed one car, one house. Yes. No, 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 no. If it goes into son, to his son can't just gift it. Okay? They look back. So it's best just not to give it to the son. Maybe a sibling.
I just put it, I just made him a beneficiary, because someone said, don't worry about it, stable account, and just lose it. It's not so.
Not if it's over that amount.
So does he take them, or he just,
He's going to lose his benefit. If he has SSI, Yeah.
that's it? So once
Yes.
it goes back down below 1,000,
correct. Correct. That's not what you want to happen.
He just can't have it as cash.
Correct. I didn't make the rules. Just trying to help you. Yes. So, here's a lump sum Social Security payback. Like I said, if they all of a sudden realize, oh, I didn't pay you enough, and they give you a lump sum, you got 9 months before it would be considered an asset. So that could sit there in the account for 9 months, then do something with it. Okay. Prepaid burials are not an asset. You can do a prepaid burial. Not that we want to think about that, but you can do a prepaid burial if somebody has lump money, some money. That's because those are not cashable. Yes.
Turned up to 20,000, then he doesn't get his SSI benefit for the months he has over 2,000. If you're not getting the SSI benefit, you also aren't eligible for Medicaid then.
Well, that's the thing is with Medicaid, it's a $2,000 asset as well. So if Medicaid picks up on that. Mhm.
It's important that family members, grandparents, that,
Right.
because it can wipe out everything.
So if you, yeah, don't leave them money. Put them, like you said, either set up a trust or maybe a sibling will take the money in, but I'm not allowed to tell you that. And yes, Lisa. That's what she was just saying. Yes, you're in trouble with the Medicaid as well. Because you're not allowed more than $2,000 in assets with Medicaid.
I just asked the wrong question. So, I know you can own a home and a car with, and your SSI is protected, but what about your Medicaid? Because those are
Yes, your
assets.
Medicaid's fine as well.
Really?
You're allowed to have a home and a car. Yes,
All right.
yes. Probably not $1 million home.
Right, right.
You know. Yes. Because you have guardianship. Right.
Benefits, or could it possibly, and we're just not sure yet, basically.
It's possible, we're not sure yet.
Okay.
Because I have guardianship of somebody as well. She's 14. She qualifies for Medicaid. I think Social Security, they might look at my income because other things they look at my income for. But,
Only since we've had it?
but I will, right, me too.
And
Right.
Head
Right.
and just. Right.
But because he lives under your roof, I would say that your income counts, but I'm going to double check for you.
Okay, yeah, which he's going to for a long time because there's no way he could have even on his own even.
Right.
Wants to be able to live on his
But you
own,
know what?
so I'm-
Once he's 18, technically, because I also know this with the one I have, once she's 18, I'm no longer responsible.
Okay.
Because even like college, she can get free grants and everything because she has no income. Because 18, it wipes it out.
Is it best to try to apply and keep guardianship? I mean, I don't know medically. Or make the right decision, as long as you know, right in mind.
You said he's verbal?
He is verbal, but he does have.
Can he make informed consent? Well, then I would go for guardianship. Yes.
I'm sure he could just say yes because he thinks it's the right.
Okay. Well, then I would definitely go for guardianship, but even with guardianship, he'd still qualify for SSI. That's fine. Perfect.
So, child's above 18,
Mm-hmm.
lives in my house, the SSI, it's Medicaid. And I take him to the doctor, and I claim him as a dependent. I think. So, when I take him to a doctor, when they ask me am I the guarantor? Or does he sign that he's a guarantor? I'm a guardian for him. So,
Then you're the guarantor. Well,
okay, but I'm of the person.
not the
not
monies.
the money.
Are you the payee of his Social Security
I am the
benefits? Then
payee.
you are the guarantor.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's the question. And so when it comes to looking if say something happens with Medicaid and it's not covered, because Medicaid doesn't cover everything, if there's something unusual or something, so then can we look at his income then I have to go and say, well, am I paying it out of my income?
It would probably
Or-
it would be out of his SSI benefits.
Or would I be going to the hospitals? and
But
saying,
you're
well,
also claiming him though.
Right. So I'm weighing this here, looking at, my son needs some services, but I was told that perhaps Medicaid cover those services.
Okay.
We can talk about the specifics,
Yes.
but I know it has to come up for other people.
Well, I know my daughter was in college, under 24, because obviously, and I was claiming her. She had some medical bills. She played lacrosse. And they looked at her income only.
Right.
And the fees got waived.
That's what I'm saying. I had a son that had
Yes.
something like that happened.
Yes.
And I mean, it was just because they messed up their insurance and I tried to get it covered and they were not helpful, so.
Right.
So I said.
So it'd be his income, not yours.
Right.
Right,
I
that's
don't
how
know
mine.
if in this case, when you have guardianship for somebody,
Guardianship doesn't make you financially responsible person.
but when they go into the doctor, they want to sign that little paper.
Right, because you're making an informed choice for the person.
Right.
But
it's
you're
not
not financially
guarantor.
responsible.
If I'm the guarantor.
You're not financially responsible, but you're the guarantor only because you are in control of his monies. But you're not financially responsible for it. Okay.
So if some way it becomes an issue, then you have to look at they'll have to look at his income rather than.
Correct.
Is that a better mic? That was my question. I actually
Yes.
tried to ask them today.
Yes,
I think nobody could answer me.
yes. You're only signing it because you are in charge of his funds as a Social Security payee. Okay, he's technically the guarantor. Okay, but since you're in charge of his funds,
It's just when you read the paper.
Right.
It pretty much says I'm in charge.
well, you're not. You can have him sign it. Because it's his monies, his Medicaid.
Okay. If I am.
Guardian,
you
Mhm.
can sign.
yes. Because you're not guardian over the estate, the money's just Social Security representative payee to make sure his stuff gets paid.
But if I was representative,
If you are guardianship over the estate, that's a little bit different. Don't do guardianship over the estate. Okay, do Social Security representative payee. Guardianship over the estate. For one, right now, probate court says unless you have like $25,000 or more, they don't want you to do guardianship over the estate. Also, guardianship over the estate, you have to get bonded every year. You have to account for all this stuff. A lot more paperwork involved. You just want to become Social Security representative payee. So if the individual gets Social Security benefits, there's a representative payeeship form you can fill out. It's not as strict as being guardianship over the estate. Did you? Yeah. So don't do guardianship over the estate unless there's a huge estate. Social Security rep payee if they have Social Security benefits. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Apply for SSI for your mind. Not giving you. I repair.
Correct. Yes. 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 They're deemed disabled, and that's right. If you're a child deemed disabled, parents' income too high, they're not going to get it. Turn 18, go ahead and reapply. Yes.
Can I still have him on my insurance?
Yes. Yes. Yours will be primary, Medicaid secondary. Absolutely. And Medicaid will pay what yours doesn't pay. Mhm. Medicaid pays it. Yes. Yes, Medicaid pays your deductibles from your own private insurance. There, I'm sorry, I had to do that. Yes,
but you have to make sure that, I mean, because you have to take a provider, I guess. And you have care source, or Buckeye.
yes, you have to make sure you have the correct HMO, okay? Whatever hospital or doctors cover. If some doctors take Humana or Care Source, some won't take Care Source, you know, so you have to make sure you have the right one. But you can switch it each year, okay? You can ask at that time frame to change the HMO. Or when you first get one, when Medicaid automatically gives you one, say they give you Molina, and you're like, my doctors don't cover Molina, they take Molina. You have a time frame at that point to have it changed. So find out what your doctors accept. They accept Care Source, change it to Care Source. Yes. You don't have to because your children are on waivers, correct? Because you don't have, right. Yes, if your child's on a waiver, an individual options waiver, level 1 waiver, self waiver through DODD, you don't have to have an HMO. You just have straight Medicaid. Oh, poop. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks, Lisa. Talk to your SSA. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Gosh, darn it. A waiver. I was a SSA for 19 years, so I can talk about waivers. What a waiver is something, it's federally funded and local funded. Okay, if your child, there's a needs assessment has to be, wait list assessment has to be done first to see if you have a current need or not to be put on the wait list for a waiver. And if you are, and you're on the wait list for a waiver, the waivers can provide homemaker personal care services, providers to come in the home and help you out, okay, with your adult child or even child, it doesn't matter the age, um, assist with transporting. Waivers also pay for, like when they're adults, for non-medical transportation to and from day program to work. If they go to work and have a job coach and things like that, the waiver pays for that. It's nothing that you would be out of your pocket. It's 60% federal funded, 40% local funded. And if they go to a day program, it pays for them to go to the day program. Once they get out of school, there's a lot of different things the waiver can do. The waiver can also pay for, depending on which waiver, say you need a stair lift because your child's in a wheelchair. You need a ramp, different home mods. Well, the waiver isn't going to pay for your medical bills and stuff like that, okay? It's going to pay for assistance for in your home, okay? It's not an insurance, but say I didn't qualify for Medicaid because of my income, and then all of a sudden now the waiver income is a little higher, which I was going to get a little bit into it. Now because I got a waiver, I now all of a sudden qualify for Medicaid, because you have to qualify for Medicaid to be able to have a waiver. Because correct. Say you need a provider at home because you know you're just need some help. That's not in my PowerPoint. It's for children and adults, but it depends if you qualify. Huh? You can get a passport waiver. Oh, I gotta go into that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just messing with you. There's a passport waiver for the elderly, and I've been here 26 years, so that's also, you also have to be able to qualify for Medicaid. Also, same with these waivers, you have to have the asset limits and all that. For your parent, has to have low assets and stuff as well. Call Office of the Aging and ask them about a passport waiver. And they'll come out and do an assessment to see the need, because she has to have obviously a physical need as well. Okay, there you go. Yes. And then they'll do the need as far as income based. And with a passport waiver, because I got my ex-mother-in-law on a passport waiver before, and other people, if she's, how much help does she need? Okay, I had about 30 hours a week for my ex-mother-in-law. It can go to like 40, but when it gets to a certain point, then they say, okay, they need 24/7 care. They're not going to get a waiver. I'll go back with my dad. Before the nursing home, I tried to get him a passport waiver in his condo. Well, Office of the Aging said they assessed him, he needed 24/7 care. So the passport waiver, they denied it because of that. So then I had to find him a nursing home. So if she doesn't need 24/7 care, or you're taking care of some of it, then the passport waiver is what you need to look into. Well, you're very welcome. I'll add that to my bill. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so if you think you want a waiver for your child, talk to your SSA, then they'll have the waitlist assessment completed, and it'll determine whether you'll be on the wait list right now or not for a waiver. Okay? That's what I'm telling you to do. Okay, now, totally off track there. But anyways, if you have a waiver, you don't have to have an HMO. You don't have to pick CareSource. You don't have to pick Molina. You just straight Medicaid. So Pretty much every hospital and everything takes straight Medicaid. Okay, all right. Okay, here we go. You guys got me lost now. I don't even know. Okay, we went over that. Okay, yeah, go one more. Okay, here's some suggestions again for your assets. Okay, prepaid burial purchase already talked about. Okay, exempt trust funds, they were talking about the special needs trust funds. You can put money into the individual's trust fund. You can leave it to them in a trust fund. Okay. You can do stable accounts. This year you can put 17,000 per year in. If your individual's working, you can put an additional 13,590 in of their earned income. So that's almost 30,000 a year. If they're not working at 17,000, a maximum of 100,000 lifetime. If they're working right now, the maximum is 517 lifetime that you can put in your stable account. One big key difference between an exempt trust fund and a stable account, well, a couple. The exempt trust fund, you can put large amounts in, okay? But the trust funds like that, you cannot. They cannot take it out in the future to pay rent, utilities, or food. It'll affect their benefits, okay? But they can take it out for vacations, clothing, you know, furniture, things that they need for maybe, you know, I need a wheelchair, or I might need this or that. But not for, I had a family, or stable account, you can use it for food, clothing, and shelter. Okay, if you're on SSI benefits, and beginning of February, you took out money from the stable account to pay my rent, you got to pay it that month with that money you took out, or now you're going to affect my SSI benefit. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm on SSI. Okay, I pull money out of my stable account in February to pay my $500 of rent for February. Okay. Since I took money out of the stable account in February to pay my rent in February, I have to pay my rent in February with that $500. Or I'm going to get in trouble from SSI. Okay. Not for that month, but if I hung on to the money, if say I didn't pay my rent and I hung on to the money and I still had it in March, then they're going to want to take back that money out of my SSI check. Okay. So with SSI, I can pay my rent as long as I pay it that month that I take out from the stable account. Okay. Yes. Well, even with trust funds, you got a Medicaid is going to come back and take some of their monies back. That's even with a trust fund. Okay. They might not take it all, but they're going to look at through the years of how much they spent, and they're going to want some of it. Okay. What's left, there should be a beneficiary it would go to. Okay. But even like these trust funds, same thing. They're Medicaid payback trust funds. Either case, Medicaid's going to come and take some of the money because they just, you know, if you have a waiver, they're paying all that money for you. If you have Medicaid to pay for all your medical bills, if you have Medicaid for this, Medicaid's going to want some of their money back. Or you can spend down your money. You just can't give it away because they're going to want to see receipts. What'd you do with the money? So, yeah. Same. They go back 5 years. Okay. All right. Disabled adult child, okay? You're the parents, you're paying in the Social Security benefits, okay? Your child was disabled before age 22. Your child had received or eligible or was receiving SSI benefits. All of a sudden you retired or you became disabled or deceased, your adult child can now draw off of your Social Security benefit. That makes sense? If you get your Social Security thing, it can tell you about dependents. Okay? You have 2 children with a disability, say the pot for your dependents is $1,000, they're going to split that amongst the 2 children with disabilities, so they each get like 500. Whatever. No. No, because then again, it's going to affect your SSI benefits. But if I'm getting 500 off of you, I'm still going to get SSI to supplement to the $914 a month. Okay? Unless, of course, I'm working, then the SSI check will fluctuate, but not the other check. Okay? So they can receive off of your benefit if you retire, or deceased, or disabled. Whenever you retire and start drawing your Social Security. Yes. Yes. Unless you pass away, then, you know, they're just going to get you. Okay. So also like concurrent benefits. Now, there's another concurrent benefit. I'm the child. I worked. I paid into Social Security. I'm receiving off of my own check. But I'm receiving about $400 a month off my own work record. Okay. My parent retires. I can get $1,000 off of theirs. 400 off of mine. Did I say 400? Okay, we'll just go to 400 off of mine. Now I'm going to get 2 checks because I'm going to get off of mine the 400. Parents, I can get 1,000, so now I'm going to get 600 off the parent to meet the 1,000. I'm going to get the higher number, but they're going to draw from mine and my parents' benefit. So I'm still going to get the $1,000. Yes. A life insurance payout, again, is an asset. Absolutely. Survivorship benefits only 200, like 250 or something like that, typically. Well, so if my parent is deceased, so if I'm receiving, say, I'm your child, I'm receiving off of you, you're retired, okay? When you pass away, you're no longer be receiving, mine's going to go up. My Social Security benefit off of you is going to go up. And that's okay. So, okay, okay, gotcha. All right. Let me see if I may. So, yes, gotcha. All right. Once they turn 18, they need to go apply for Social Security on their own. Because if a child is receiving a parent's benefit because the parent's deceased and the child's under 18, any minor child is going to receive off of a parent's benefit, disabled or not. They're not looking at the child's disability, they're looking at the fact that the child's minor, parent's deceased. Well, any assets. So even as that, and you're saving the money, and then all of a sudden they want to collect Medicaid, they still got to get rid of the assets. Yeah, yeah. But also, again, I received off of you as a minor. I'm 18 now, okay? My Social Security check stops. Why? Because it wasn't based off of my disability. It was based off of I was a minor child. My parent died. Now I have to go apply to see if I qualify based off of my disability. Okay. I'm also going to let you know that receiving benefits off of my work record, as if I'm an adult child and I have a work record, or receiving benefit off of a parent's, there is no asset limit like on SSI. Okay. However, if you have Medicaid, you still got to watch the $2,000 asset limit. But if they don't have Medicaid and just your Social Security benefit, they can have assets. It's confusing, right? That depends on your work. Want to know if your disabled child is over 26 years old, can they still collect off your insurance? That's based off of your own work's policy. Receiving off of your own work benefit or your parents' benefit, after 24 months, you're eligible to get Medicare. So you'll have Medicare. Not when you're just on SSI, but when you receive off of a parent's benefit or your own work benefit, you get Medicare. Doesn't matter how old you are. Okay. So now if I have Social Security benefits and I have Medicare, I have Medicaid, your Medicare is primary, your Medicaid is secondary. Okay. Also, Medicare has a $160-some a month premium right now. I'm not there yet, but anyways, I'll just go there. That'll come out of your Social Security check every month. If you meet certain income limits and you're on Medicaid, Medicaid will pay that Medicare premium, and it won't come out of your Social Security check anymore. We'll get to the income limits shortly. We can always talk separately too. Okay. Social Security disabled individual. Again, I'm working, I earned work credits. The younger I am in the credits I'm earning, I'm going to start receiving off of my own benefit faster than if I was older and started working. Okay. These are, you have to have 4 credits a year, minimum of 6 credits if you're under 31 to start receiving off your own benefit. And like I said, it'll start off slow, maybe $200 a month. I'm still working, I'm paying into Social Security, I'm earning credits. My SSDI check's going to keep going up. SSI check's going to keep going down. Or if I have all these concurrent benefits. But I really want to get to the stuff about working. Okay. Now we're getting to the working part. Go to the next one. Substantial gainful activity. Substantial gainful activity, Social Security says this year it's $1,470 month gross income. If I'm receiving off of my benefit, not SSI, my Social Security benefit or my parent's Social Security benefit, I need to watch my earned income. Not my unearned income, not my Social Security benefit, but my earned income. I'm working. Okay? Social Security says if I start earning over $1,470 per month gross on a consistent basis, I'm meeting substantial gainful activity. Eventually, I'm going to lose my Social Security check because I'm not disabled anymore. So that's a key number. $1,470 a month gross. Stay under. If you want to continue your Social Security check. Now, maybe I don't want to anymore. Maybe I want to be independent, and if I'm holding a job and everything. So I decide I'm going to work, and I lose my check. Within the next 5 years, I can get my check back if I lost my job based on my disability that I had for the check in the first place. Okay? Maybe it's too much for me, and I can prove because of that disability, I couldn't keep up with these hours. Well, I can get my check back. Okay? If it's been 5 years, I have to go reapply and go through all that again, and they may say no because I've I proved that I can do substantial gainful activity. Okay. You first have to go through a trial work period. But my thing is, just forget all about that. Just stay under that, because that's the main key. Okay, the 1470 a month this year.
I've got a letter, 30,
Mm-hmm.
they said, well, we're going back to trial period, but the dates look like they're going back to 2005.
Yes, they'll do that. Just for now on, if somebody's out of the trial work period, try what a trial work period is. Yes, they'll do that. Because a trial work period is 9 months, doesn't have to be consecutive months, of earning money over the trial work period amount, okay? So say 2005, I met the trial work period twice. I didn't meet it in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All of a sudden now I'm meeting the trial work period, okay? So it could be years. Does that make sense? As long as it's 9 months. Once I hit 9 months of hitting the trial work period, it doesn't matter if it's been 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. But the amount goes up every year, what you have to meet.
Trial period amount or
The 1470, just worry about the SGA. Just worry about the S. They're going to tell you, oh, you went through your trial work period. Okay, well, all that means is, as long as I stay under $1,470 per month, I'm still keeping my Social Security check. They're just telling you, you made it through your trial work period, so once you start earning over this for a consecutive period of time, we're taking away your check because you're not disabled anymore. So my thing is just stay under that amount, gross, before taxes.
I know they're ready.
After they go
Yeah.
through the
Yeah,
trial
the
work
trial.
period, then they have to go through this next period, and then 3 months of meeting it before they would lose, if they made the 1470, they'll lose a check for that month. But then if they keep doing over the 1470, they're eventually going to take away your Social Security check. So that's all. I just don't want you guys to,
Even if.
it's very confusing. Just stay
Even-
under the 1470.
Yeah, because yeah, so even if.
It's
she don't-
1470 gross is just your earned income, not your Social Security check, your earned income from work. Okay?
But her check was 1,800 SSDI under adult child, she earned.
Correct. Not the first time she earns it.
No.
They're going to watch it.
Yeah, they're gonna watch.
And
it,
there's a
but
time
after
frame.
the time-
But after that, there goes your $1,800 Social Security check. Because you're not disabled anymore because you met substantial gainful activity. Okay? Okay. But we have some things we can do also if they are getting to be that way. Okay? But we'll get there. Okay. Next one, Zach. I don't want to, okay, there we go. Impairment-related work expense, what we were talking about before. Okay? The thing with impairment-related work expense, it's going to be deducted off your gross income. So say I'm earning $1,500 a month gross, but I pay for my own special transportation. My special transportation is $200 a month. Social Security is not going to count the $200 a month because I have to show them I'm paying my special transportation. I just brought my income down. They're only going to count $1,300 a month. So I just got myself below SGA. So some things we can do because, like, I'm going to go back to this waiver thing. If an individual's on a waiver, the waiver can pay the transportation to and from their employment. Okay? But I want to keep working, but I don't want to lose my check. So maybe once a week, I'll pay for my transportation. That's an impairment-related work expense, and the waiver can pay the other days. Does that make sense? Okay? Because I'm going to pay that. I'm going to tell Social Security I'm paying some of this, my impairment-related work expense. So even though I'm grossing 1,500, they're not going to count the 1,500 because they're going to deduct what I paid for my transportation. So I'm still working what I want to work. I'm just paying a little bit for something, and I still keep my Social Security check. I'll get you my number. Oh, it's on the back.
No, I'm just looking at
Right.
with the idea that, I thought of my own son and how, the whole family would jump through hurdles to make sure that he was successful.
Mhm.
But there's, but I mean, and maybe he's good for a while because his condition kind of rises and falls.
Mhm.
He potentially can lose his benefits and the times that he's incapable. Nobody's going to sit there and go, now you're incapable. So
So I'm trying to help. So this is what just trying to help you is understand what we need to do to make sure they don't lose their benefits. There's ways that we can do things. Okay. Son needs somebody to help him get ready for work an hour each morning. He pays him out of his own pocket. It's impairment related work expense. You submit that to Social Security, then all of a sudden they only look at this part of your income. They deduct that off your income. They don't take it from you, they just deduct it. Okay? It'll get you under SGA. Just different things. I need to take my medicine. I don't have Medicaid, but I need to take my medicine so I can function at work. Anything that's work related. If I don't take my medicine, I can't function at work. But now I have to take this medicine. I'm paying it out of my own pocket. That's impairment related work expense. There's just ideas things we can come up with. So, like I said, they're non-reimbursable for Medicaid or Medicare or private insurance. You're paying for it out of your own pocket. Medical devices that you need to work. Okay. Medications, medical services, vehicle transportation costs. Even, you couldn't even work it out where you're driving him because he can't drive himself. He needs a special vehicle or whatever. He can pay you and then use that. Because he can't take his own transportation and can't take regular public transportation like everybody else. He needs somebody to drive him or special transportation. Like I said, the attendant care. Zach, next. These are blind work expenses for an individual who's blind. Okay. It's just, and the definition of blind is the central vision acuity of 20/200 or less. So there's a definition of what they consider blind. Okay. Individuals who are blind, their SGA is higher. It's $2,460 per month before they'd say they're not disabled anymore. Okay. So it's pretty much the same as impairment related work expenses, but it's the same thing for individuals who are blind, but their SGA is a little higher. Okay. And there's similar transportation, visual or sensory aids that they pay on their own. It even says union dues. They pay union dues. That's impairment related work expense. Any service animal expenses, anything like that. They can use that. Keep their income below SGA. Okay. Next one, Zach. This was the one I really liked, the subsidies. Okay. What a subsidy is, excuse me for a minute. Okay. I'm working. I'm making $10 an hour like all my coworkers. Okay. But I have to take extra breaks. I need job coaching. I don't do the full job description as everybody else. I'm slower. Okay. But my boss is still going to pay me $10 an hour. Okay. I'm technically receiving what's called a subsidy. I'm not earning that $10 an hour like everybody else, okay? But I'm getting paid the $10 an hour, okay? There's, in your packets, it says Westfield Group on it, okay? It's because I sat with Westfield Group and we did this a long time ago for one of their individuals. They came up with this sheet, this form about my job description, okay? The percentage of time a day for each task, what's full performance, 100%, what's my performance level, and what's the variance, okay? So basically, for instance, preparing food, cutting, sorting, combining, I'm only doing 60% out of the 100%, okay? My other coworkers are doing 100%. There's one, I think, let's see. Okay, trained on the use of point of sale, terminal, and function as cashier is needed. I'm doing 0% because I couldn't read, so I can't do this. Okay, so there's functions in this job description I'm not doing, but my coworkers are doing, and my boss is still saying, well, I'm still paying you $10 an hour. Okay? I'm not earning it technically. So, but I'm over SGA. I'm over $14.70 a month because my boss is still paying me all that money. Okay? Well, Westfield, we sat down with them and said, okay, the next page is a form from Social Security. What am I earning? What percentage am I earning as far as my $10 an hour? Okay? It doesn't affect the employer whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Well, here I'm doing fewer and easier duties. I have extra help supervision. I have lower productivity standards. Okay? The next page, my boss says, I'm only doing 60% of that $10 an hour. So I'm only earning $6 an hour. They fill this out, and I submit it to Social Security. Social Security is only going to count $6 an hour for me, not the $10 an hour I'm actually receiving. I'm below SGA now. Correct. You got to get the employer to fill it out. Doesn't affect the employer whatsoever. The job coaches can talk to them. I can talk to them, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Explain to them, I know you want to pay me like everybody else, okay, but I'm going to lose my Social Security benefit, and I know I'm not earning the whole $10 an hour, you know. Am I receiving a subsidy? Say I'm making $10 an hour, my boss says I'm getting 40% subsidy. Now I'm only getting, Social Security's only counting $6 an hour for me. So now if that brings me below the $14.70 a month as far as the SGA, I'm still getting paid the $10 an hour, but Social Security is only going to count the $6 an hour. I keep my Social Security check, my job, and when I'm getting paid.
Like when they reduce it.
Yes. Yes.
For $2 you make.
Well, I'm not talking about SSI. I'm talking about if I'm on my Social Security benefit, your Social Security benefit, I'm working, making earned income, I'm reaching substantial gainful activity, I'm going, holy cow, okay? We can talk to the employer to see if you are receiving a subsidy. Now, I did have somebody on my caseload years ago who was only receiving 10% subsidy. It didn't help. because he was able to do the job and it was only 10% subsidy. But there's things we can look at. And I can help you guys with the paperwork too, okay? Now, as far as SSI, if I'm working and I just apply for SSI, okay? If I'm over substantial gainful activity, I won't qualify for SSI. But if I'm receiving a subsidy, then they're not going to count the $14.70 a month. Does that make sense? So there's things that can be done if all of a sudden they send you a letter, hey, you're about to be over and you're going to lose your check. Yes. We haven't had a problem yet with that, but so far we haven't had a problem. We've had several employers fill it out, okay? Because it's not going to cost them anything. It's not going to hurt them for anything, okay? Westfield. Sandridge, yes. Yes. They hire, yes, we have a lot of individuals that have worked at Sandridge throughout the years. But it never hurts to, to ask them or have the job coach ask them. I wouldn't as a parent really, because it's the employer, maybe ask this SSA, your case manager SSA, your employment. We don't do the employment anymore. The follow-along services, county board doesn't, but whoever their follow-along service provider is, maybe the job developer can go talk to them. I mean, I wouldn't do it as a parent because, that's the employer, but we can do it, I've offered to talk to employers too, just to have them understand it better. Okay? So there are ways I can work, still keep my checks, have my money, have my benefits. So don't be afraid of working. Just be careful with the amounts. Okay.
Question if the employer has a 401k program, they're gonna match whatever you're putting in.
You can do the 401k program.
That's not, their whatever match they're giving you is counted as.
No, because it's in your 401. Mhm. Right. For a 401? Yeah. But a 401's not supposed to count against you. You're really not allowed to take it out. It's not it's not a liquid asset sitting right there like the the life insurance policy with the liquid asset. I mean, you take something out of your 401, you're getting taxed, penalized, and everything else.
I just didn't know if the employer portion.
No, that goes into the account. It's not going into my hands. Okay. Medicaid. There are some income limits as far as getting Medicaid, okay? And also asset limits. Yes, please. Thank you. I'm working. I don't qualify for normal disability Medicaid because of my income, okay? But I'm working. I'm not on SSI benefits either anymore. I'm just on Social Security disability, okay? If my Social Security disability and my income is more than $914 a month, I'm not going to qualify for Medicaid anymore, okay? That's their cap, $914 a month. If I'm on SSI benefits, I qualify for Medicaid. The minute I'm off SSI benefits, because now my Social Security check's over $914 a month, I don't have a waiver, I'm on my benefit, I'm not going to qualify for Medicaid. unless I'm working, and then I can get in what's called the Medicaid buy-in program. Okay? So I'm working, I fill out this form from Job and Family Services. Okay, now whenever you do the redeterm, they automatically submit the stuff through their computer, but all of a sudden I already had my redeterm and I was denied, but now I'm working at least 40 hours a month, is what you have to do for Medicaid buy-in. There's a form to fill out, and I can get the Medicaid buy-in. Let me see where she, okay, here we go. Go to the next one, next. Okay, perfect. I'm sorry, they redid my PowerPoint for me this morning. Okay, instead of last week or so, I could look at it, they redid my PowerPoint, so it's a little off for me. So anyways, Medicaid buy-in, you might have a premium based on your income, and I'm going to show you the calculations. You have to be U.S. citizen, resident of Ohio, age 16 to 64 years old, which they're trying to get that changed to 64-year-old because some of our individuals like to keep working. Okay. So right now, legislators trying to get it over 64. You can't collect Social Security until what age? 65. For somebody who's younger, maybe 70. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm PERS. I'm public employee retired, so I don't know anything. 66 or 67. Okay. All right. So they're going to try and raise that. So our individuals, because some of our individuals want to keep working. Okay. You were determined disabled by Social Security, so obviously you're on Social Security benefits. You're employed, taxed work, 40 hours a month. Okay. You're going to qualify for the Medicaid buy-in program. So there's Medicaid there if your individual's working, even if they don't get the SSI benefit anymore because they've worked a lot, or if they're off of your benefit and they can't qualify for SSI anymore. Because remember, SSI, you automatically get Medicaid. There's a Medicaid for buy-in for people who are working. Okay. Okay, I'll show you that in just a second. Unless it's gone. She changed. Wait. Oh, there it is. Go next page. Okay, here you go. Here's your answer. All right. Okay. My gross income is $2,000 a month. Okay, for the Medicaid buy-in. Now, for either of these, it's your earned income and your unearned income combined. Okay, so if I'm receiving Social Security benefits and earned income, that's discount. Okay, so my gross income is $2,000 a month. That's both earned and unearned combined. Okay, they minus 150% of the federal poverty level. So this year it was $1,699 a month. You get $301 left over. Okay, I'm not paying any other insurance premiums. 301, they multiply by 10%. I might pay $30 a month for my Medicaid card in the Medicaid buy-in program. Okay, they'll send you a bill each month. So you can still have your Medicaid. Any questions on that? Okay. Here's the difference if you have a waiver, okay? Forget the Medicaid buy-in for a minute. I have a waiver. My income again is $2,000 a month. Earned and unearned. They give me a needs allowance, $1,783 a month, minus $65, which they disregard. $152 a month. I'm now paying, if I have a waiver, it's called patient liability because I'm over a certain income, I'm going to pay $152 a month for my Medicaid card. Okay? But I'm working, so they're just going to put me in the buy-in, so I'm going to pay less for my Medicaid card. That make sense? You have to be working for this. Yes. Right. This is not working. This is if you have a waiver, okay? This is if you are working and you have unearned income, but you have to be working for the Medicaid buy-in.
Total gross income,
If he's just on SSI benefits, he's not going to have, he's going to get Medicaid no matter what, no cost. Okay? SSI benefits, Medicaid's no cost. Yes. Medicaid says this is your monthly needs allowance for bills and food and all that. Medicaid. Yes. This is all about Medicaid here. This, they give you a needs allowance every year. This is what your needs allowance is, so that's why they deduct it off your income. It's the same for everyone this year. Yes, this is for everyone. And they also disregard $65. So then they're saying, okay, now you have to pay $152 a month for your Medicaid card because we already gave you a disregards of your income. If they're working, you're going to want to do the buy-in program. Yes. If they're working and their income's higher and they're going to start paying a lot of money for their, okay. If they don't have a waiver, okay, no waiver whatsoever, okay, and your income's more than $914 a month, because they look at the SSI limit, because SSI you get Medicaid for free. So if you're over $914 a month and you're working, you want to go in the Medicaid buy-in program, or you're not getting Medicaid if you're not working. You won't have Medicaid, or unless you have a waiver. Waiver gives you Medicaid. Okay? So I'm receiving off of your benefit, I'm your adult child, and I'm getting $1,000 a month. I'm not working. Well, there's a glitch there too, but anyways, I could, but, all right, let's say I'm receiving $1,000 a month off of my own, I'm not working anymore. I lose Medicaid. I don't get Medicaid. I have too much income. Okay? I went back to work. Now I can go to the Medicaid buy-in program. Now my case manager gives me a waiver. Okay, but I decide not to work again. But now I have the waiver. If my income's less than this, I'm going to get the waiver for, I'm not going to pay anything for my Medicaid. Okay. Very confused. Yes. If you're on a waiver, you don't have to take an HMO. You don't have to do CareSource. You don't have to do Molina or anything like that. You don't have to do an HMO. So you'll just have disability Medicaid, which most everybody takes. Okay? You don't have a waiver. You're on SSI. You have Medicaid. You got to pick CareSource, Molina, Humana. Find out which ones your doctors accept. That's just the difference as far as that. You guys understand a little bit about this? Any questions online? Okay. All right. Now, there is one little thing if I'm receiving off of my parents' benefit. And I got $1,000 a month off of you. I had SSI before that. So I got my Medicaid for free. Okay. But you decided to retire. Now, Social Security doesn't want me to have supplemental Social Security income anymore because that's a kind of a free money, basically. It's a pot that nobody's worked, earned into. So now I can get $1,000 off of my parent a month. They're going to knock me off of SSI, okay, where I get my free Medicaid. Now I'm off my parents' benefit, $1,000 a month. Well, typically, if you're over $914 a month, I'm not going to get Medicaid because I don't have a waiver. I'm not working. Well, there's what's called a grandfather clause. The grandfather clause says, after 1987, July 1st of 1987, I started receiving off of my parents' benefit. I was deemed disabled, you know, I had received SSI benefits. Now because you retired and I can collect off of yours, now you made me lose my Medicaid. They're gonna waive my income. Job and Family Services is gonna waive my income because I'm now off of a parent's benefit and it made me lose my Medicaid. So it's called the grandfather clause. I'll get my Medicaid back. But you have to know this to tell them that. So if something ever happens in the future where your adult child's receiving off your benefit, they were on SSI before and they had their Medicaid, now they're over that $914 a month with your Social Security check, they lose their Medicaid, you know, you might want to call Job and Family Services and say, what about the grandfather clause? It's not my fault I got my parents' benefit, now I lost my Medicaid.
Part of your life, you get into Social Security, and you become disabled before you're retired. The amount of income with disability calculated differently than the pot that nobody's getting.
Right, right. But I'm basically going over people with disabilities before age 22 that have our services. Yes. Not somebody who's 60 years old, been working, all of a sudden I became disabled at 60. I'm more geared towards before age 22 disabled and what can we do as far as their Medicaid, their Medicare, you know, can they work? How can we keep their benefits? Okay. So basically there's ways to keep your Medicaid if you're working. A lot of people are afraid to work or, well, you'll lose your benefits. Well, there's ways to keep your benefits. That's what this is kind of about. There's ways to keep the benefits. Don't keep them from working. You might have to keep them from working full time unless they receive a subsidy. There are ways to they can work and have some money. Okay. Stable accounts, you can set it up to where you can just put money in whenever you're over the asset limit, or if I know I'm going to be over 300 a month all the time with my assets, I can set it up where it automatically takes it out of my account, puts it in my stable account, 300 a month automatically. Okay. Or, like I said, you can do it whenever. You can go online. Stable accounts so easy to set up, and I can help you with that too. Very easy to set up. You can get a debit card with a stable account, go online and have some money transferred to the debit card. It takes a few days, then they have their debit card. Or you can have a check sent. Yes, not as strict as a trust. Right. No, because with SSI benefits, it talks about just the rent. But you can go to stableaccount.com, okay? They have FAQs, facts and questions, and you can read all that. It's very clear of everything you can do. It's pretty laxed about what you can do. You know, I want to go on a vacation, I'm using my money. Just read go to stableaccount.com, read the FAQs. It's got a lot of information there. It's simple reading. Is that where? That was a really, wait, all right, wait, okay. Wait, okay, am I, like, how much time do I have? Okay, let's go over these calculation sheets. I have these SSI calculation sheets, okay? If somebody's on SSI benefits and they're working, okay, we're gonna calculate how much their SSI check would be that month based on their earned income. That's the first calculation sheet, okay? So basically on these calculation sheets, I have no unearned income. So that's the sheet we should be on with the 0 unearned income. So meaning unearned income, I don't have another Social Security check. Okay. General income exclusion, well, I don't have any unearned income, so I can't take that there, 0. Okay, countable unearned income is 0. Okay, the next line I have gross earned income. I grossed $1,400 this month. Okay, so am I going to get a Social Security check, SSI check? Yes. So I'm not a student, so there's nothing taken out for student earned income exclusion. Okay, the remainder is $1,400. The general income exclusion from the $20 up above, since I didn't have unearned income, I get to take it off down here, so they minus the 20 off the 1,400. That's $1,380. I get an earned income exclusion of 65, so the remainder is $1,315. Okay. They divide it by 2. That's at $1 for every 2 you earn after the first $85 is disregarded. So $657.50, the remainder off my income. I don't have any blind work expenses. I don't have a pass. Okay, so you go down at the bottom. My total countable income that Social Security is going to count against my SSI check is $657.50. So then I go down here. What's the SSI amount this year? $914 a month. My countable income is $657.50 out of my earned income. I'm still going to get an SSI payment of $256.50 that month. That's how they calculate your SSI check with your earned income. Okay, so now I'm getting $1,400 a month of my income, and I'm also getting a $256.50 a month SSI check. So my income for that month is $1,656.50. That's how they calculate your SSI check off of your earned income. Does that make sense? Okay. The next one, I hope, should be your unearned income and earned income. Okay, so this is going to show you I receive $400 a month unearned income. So I'm either receiving off of my Social Security benefit or off of my parents' Social Security benefit. That's my unearned income, $400 a month. Okay, then general earned income exclusion, we're going to take the $20 off of there because I do have unearned income. So right now my countable unearned income is $380 a month. We're going to leave that there for right now. Okay. The next line is my gross earned income I'm receiving $800, I work and I get $800 a month earned income. That $20 I already minused off of my unearned income, so I don't get that this time down there. My earned income exclusion is $65. So 800 minus 65 is $735. That makes sense? We're going to divide that by half. So now I got $367.50 of countable earned income from working. Okay? So now we're going to go back to down. We're going to go to the countable unearned income they're going to count. Well, that's the $380. So you put the $380 where it says total countable unearned income. And then you add the total countable earned income, which was the $367.50. So the total countable income Social Security is going to count is $747.50. Because they're going to count some of my earned income and they're going to count some of my unearned income. The SSI benefit amount is $914 a month. You're going to subtract the total countable income of $747.50. I'm still going to get an SSI payment of $166.50 a month. So I have my earned income of $800. I have my unearned income, my unearned Social Security check off of my benefit, my parents' benefit of $400, and I'm still going to get $166.50 for my SSI payment. So that's how they calculate the SSI payments if you're working and you have other income. Any questions? The next one, I added impairment-related work expense. So I'll just go over this real quick, and then if there's questions. So with an impairment-related work expense, I still have my unearned income of $400 a month, minus the $20 exclusion. So my unearned income right now is $380 that they're going to count. My earned income again is $800 a month where I worked. That's my earned income. Okay. The remainder is $800 minus the 20. They don't take the 20 out because they took it out up top of my unearned income. We minus the $65 from my earned income. Okay. So that's $735. I had impairment related work expense of $100. I paid for some of my transportation. They minus that off my income. Now it's $635. Then they divide it by half. So it's $317.50. Yeah, I may have paid that impairment related work expense, but SSI is going to give it back to me. At least half of it. Okay. So $317.50. So now my total countable unearned income is $380. My total countable earned income is $317.50. So total countable income is $697.50. SSI is $914 a month. Minus $697.50, I'm going to get a $216.50 SSI check. So you're going to get at least half back of that impairment-related work expense. Okay. So with SSI, that's how the impairment-related work expense works. You're going to get some of that money back in your SSI check. If you're not on SSI and you're on your own benefit or your parents' benefit, impairment-related work expense is going to help you stay under SGA to keep your Social Security check. So you can use impairment-related work expense for your SSI and get some of that money back. Use it to keep your Social Security benefit and keep your income lower. There's information about Medicare. Remember, we talked about your Medicare premium and different incomes. If your income is lower certain amounts, Medicaid will pay your Medicare premium. I'll let you guys just read that, the income amounts, because I think I took up a lot of time. And I want to leave time for questions. Are there any questions in there, Zach? Not at the moment. The back of the PowerPoint has my information, if anybody wants to contact me. It is a very confusing subject. It's not one time that we remember it. I've been doing this 26 years. Took me a while. Still learning. But this is my information, my email address, our phone number, extension, if you want to get a hold of me, if you have questions. Email would probably be best because I'm not always around to answer my phone. And then I'll get back with you if you have questions. If you want to have a sit down one-on-one, just let me know. We'll do that, okay? But I just wanted to let you know that our individuals can work. Okay? They can earn money. They can have their benefits. We just have to watch some of that and what we can do with some of their monies. Any questions? Yes. Oh, yay. We're going all the way back to the beginning.
You talked about fair share, of rent and food. Work-related expenses, that child is going to pay you to. I'm assuming that money actually.
She wants to know if money needs to change hands for fair share and impairment-related work expenses if a parent drives you and whatnot. It should.
Is there a dollar amount that's attributed to the miles and the?
Well, I know the federal government, I think, is at 62 cents a mile. Okay, so I wouldn't charge more than 62 cents a mile. Well, the impairment, yeah, because you have to give it to Social Security. But as far as the in-kind support, well, they should be paying you rent and for their stuff.
What's the difference between SSDI and SSI?
SSI is Social Security supplemental income. I'm disabled, but I never paid into Social Security. Social Security says I'm disabled. So there's a pot of money there for me.
And that's usually the same.
The SSI is no more than $914 a month right now, but that's where you can also not pay your fair share and get less. SSI is also where if I'm working, that's where my check fluctuates. That's where we did the calculation sheets. SSDI, I paid into Social Security, I worked. Okay, now I'm getting SSDI. That check doesn't fluctuate, but it's going to go up through the years as I'm paying into Social Security. Okay. There's also the SSDAC off of the adult child, where I'm receiving off of your benefit because you retired, deceased, or disabled. Excuse me. So those are your checks. That one doesn't fluctuate either when you work. Okay. But it might go up because Social Security got a raise, like 8%. If I was retired, I would have gotten 8%.
The one that went, the one because he's been working went to zero.
That would be SSI. SSI is the only one that's these calculation sheets, the SSI calculation sheets. Okay.
And then what he gets, usually the same amount as SSD.
Correct. Correct. If you have questions, again, please feel free to email me. This is not a one-night subject, okay? Well, maybe. But I have no problem if you email me, if you want to sit down and meet, whatever, or ask questions, I'll email you back, call, I'll talk to you on the phone, okay? Because it really isn't just a one-nighter. Anyways. Okay. You're welcome.
This really important topic. Thank you everybody for attending tonight. We really appreciate you being here.
press up for that economy.
Well,
Yes, you said money should change hands for the fair exchange, but how does SSI track that? Like, a fair share? But how does
Well, they-
SSI?
Technically don't, they are taking your word for it.
Thank you.